Hello, I'm Dennis, and I'm the lead SEO with Global Science Web Team. In the following video, I'm going to take a look at the roles that HTTPS and SSL play in search engine optimization. The question that most often comes up in this area is, does having an HTTPS version of a page or website influence its ranking potential? The answer, in short, is yes, but it's not because, as is often thought, that HTTPS pages can't be indexed. In fact, right now I'm going to do a search for pages that have HTTPS in the URL by doing an in URL search for the string HTTPS://. And as you can see, there are lots of results. Now, this is a problem because HTTPS provides an alternative way to access the same content. So even though there's only one original version of a page, search engines can register or index several instances of this one resource. And this causes what we call duplicate content. Now, this is a problem because in the eyes of search engines, the less original a page is, the less valuable it is to the end user. So duplicate pages are bad news for ranking because one version of a page affects the integrity of the other and they essentially compete against each other for ranking. So I'm going to take a brief look at why this is and what we can do to avoid it. To understand why it is, we first need to understand how pages end up in the index. Basically, a search engine starts with a seed set of websites and then uses software programs referred to as spiders, crawlers, or bots to follow links from page to page and from site to site, taking note of the content on the pages and keeping records so that it can present the pages as future search results. In this example, the site example.com is linking to a page on globalsign.com using the HTTP version of a link. So when the search engine crawlers follow this link, the page is indexed as the HTTP version. Now you can't see it here in this example because it's not shown by default, but that's the non-secure version of the page. In the second example, the site example2.com is linking to the same page on the Global Sign site, but this time using the secure or HTTPS version of the link, which means that in this instance, the page will be indexed as HTTPS. So the search engine thinks that there are two copies of this page. Now, for the more technical reason as to why this is a problem, we need to understand another concept, and that is the concept of authority. In search engine optimization, the more authoritative a website or web page is, the more likely it is to show up in search results for a given query, providing, of course, it's also relevant to that query. Authority flows into a website through links from other sites because search engines see links as votes or recommendations of one site by another. So how does this apply to the HTTPS problem? This example oversimplifies things, but I think it gets the point across. Here we have 6 external sites linking to the HTTP version of a page. So in this system, there are 6 units of authority up for grabs, and this one version of the page gains all 6 of them. In this second example, there are now 2 versions of the page, a secure and non-secure version. Now there are still 6 units of authority up for grabs, but because 2 of the external sites have linked to the HTTPS version, the authority is essentially split between the pages. It's distributed between both. So the presence of the second copy of the page compromises the ability of the other to acquire authority through links and consequently to perform well in search. So what can we do about this? On pages where security is important, like login pages, transaction pages, or even contact forms, we should force the HTTPS protocol. Like here on globalsign.com, if I try and access the non-secure version of our general contact form, I'm automatically forced to the secure version of the page. Now in this situation, the HTTPS version is the only version that can be accessed either by humans or by search engine crawlers, so this page will only ever be indexed as a secure version. The Rel Canonical Link is a way of saying to a search engine crawler, regardless of the type of link you followed to get here, this is how we'd like this page to show up in the index. Now, there are lots of ways to manage how your pages are indexed, but the Rel Canonical Link is a really efficient way to cover all your bases and avoid duplicate content issues. Now, there's a lot of information out there about how to use it, but the first result for a Google search for the terms Rel Canonical includes a comprehensive 20-minute video explanation by Matt Cutts, who's a spokesperson for the Google search team. So it's a good resource to check out. So before we wrap up, we should look at some other important points. The first is that this only applies to pages that are available over both protocols. So if a page is forced to HTTPS, then a crawler will always end up with a secure URL and it will be indexed as such. The second is that you should be consistent with your own internal linking, because if you're linking to HTTP and HTTPS versions of pages from within your own site, then you're causing your own duplicate content issues. And the third thing is that it has been publicly stated by Google that they use page load speed as a ranking factor. So theoretically at least, an HTTPS page, which does place a slightly higher load on the server, will consequently load fractionally slower than an HTTP version of a page. So all other things being equal, then the HTTPS version is at a slight disadvantage in this regard. But remember, of course, that page load speed is just one factor in Google's 200-factor search algorithm. So the marginal difference between an HTTP and an HTTPS version of a page in ranking might be very difficult to detect. In the wake of the Komodo fraud incident of March 2011, Google took the opportunity to talk about a couple of SSL and PKI-related projects, namely the Google Online Certificate Catalog and the DNS-based Authentication of Named Entities, or DANE, working group. You can read more about these on the Google Online Security blog. The fact that Google checks for the presence and integrity of SSL certificates on sites kicked off a round of rampant speculation in the SEO world as to whether SSL certificates are seen as ranking signals or not. So here's a quick summary of what we do and don't know at this stage. Number 1. Pretty much any question you might ask about Google search can be brought back to the concept of delivering quality results. So, all other things being equal, a fast page will outrank a slow one, a page with original content will outrank one with duplicate content, and so on. Secondly, there are some cases documented on the various forums where expired SSL certificates have seemed to cause drops in rankings for certain groups of pages. This ties in with the whole quality thing, and it makes sense that Google might demote pages that give users security warnings and consequently less satisfactory user experiences. And finally, if we are now in an era of speed and performance from an optimizing for Google point of view, it seems clear from their stance in various forum discussions, blog articles, and the direction of the industry in general at the moment that the next era may well be one of trust and security. In the SSL industry, we already know the positive effect of site security on customer trust and conversions, and it may be only a matter of time before we see this benefit transfer to the realm of search engine optimization. So some things to take away. First, use an SSL certificate on your site. It's not only going to protect your customers' transactions, but it seems like a good investment for the future in SEO terms. Make sure that that certificate is signed by a reputable certificate authority, that it's working properly, and that it's up to date. Take some time to make sure aspects of your site's performance, like page load speed, are up to scratch. And take care to avoid the types of issues we covered earlier in this video. That's it for now. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Bye.